Losers for week 6 of the college football season. Let's break it down. Let's start off with the winners. Virginia, huge victory for them. This is a big, overtime, victory. Obviously, they took care of business in this game earlier, and they let a Louisville team, kind of claw back in this one. But Virginia dominated in the trenches once again, like they did last week against Florida State. They had 5 sacks on Louisville's quarterback, Miller Moss. And this is a Tony Elliott team that's coached really well, gritty, physical, and this is a team that's going to continue to surprise people in the ACC. They're playing inspired football. With the win against Florida State, they were ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2019. So this is a huge accomplishment for this Virginia Cavaliers team. They're trending in the right direction. They still have a shot to compete in the ACC and potentially, face off against, Miami. That might be ugly, but getting there, having a great season, getting to the ACC championship would be huge for Virginia, a team that's not known for being a good football team anymore, at least. So big credit to Tony Elliott. He has done a phenomenal job over there at Virginia. UNLV, the Rebels, this is a team that Dan Mullen has these boys playing great. This is a 5-0 team, and they won a game in the snow against Wyoming. Snow football in October. This was a great sight to see, but UNLV, they've, made some mistakes. It hasn't been perfect, but this is a team that continues to stack victories. They have a chance to make the college football playoff. That's something you probably would have not said about this team coming into the year. For the first time, they're 5-0 since 1974, so that's a big winner I have. Washington, their comeback victory against Maryland. Maryland dominated them for 3 quarters. It took them, 3 quarters to adjust to, the travel for this game and being on the road. But Washington handled themselves pretty well to finish this game, down 20 points with 3 minutes and 44 seconds left in the third quarter. And Damon Williams Jr., phenomenal star quarterback player. 3 touchdown drives to bring them back in this game. 54 yards rushing, so that dual threat quarterback. This is a guy that has a lot of potential, a young guy, still needs to develop some more with his passing. He has all the star talent ability. Against Ohio State last week, I predicted them to upset Ohio State, but we see how good Ohio State really is. Ohio State is the best team in the country. They are damn near an all-time team. So Washington, a sleeper team in the Big Ten, is a team that's going to have a really good year this year. Damon Williams, man, watch out for him. He's going to be somebody that's going to be drafted really high in the 2027 NFL draft. This is a frisky, underrated squad. The AP poll don't fuck with them for real. They should have been ranked. This Washington team getting a victory over Maryland, a team that has a really good defense. Lake Washington special. This is not just a regular ass win. I think Washington should be in the top 25. I think Maryland at some point could end up in the top 25 as well, because really like what they got going over there with Malik Washington. And like I said, this complete team has different energy and different feel to them. But watch out for Washington and Maryland. Notre Dame has a great feel to them now. They're 4-1. They're continuing their streak of playing really great football. This is the type of team that's going to be in the playoff. This is a top 12 team in the country. CJ Carr did not play that well in this game. Jeremiah Love was solid, but yeah, CJ Carr had 2 interceptions. Offense kind of struggled. The play calling wasn't up to par with what we expect them to have. But this is still a solid Boise State team that, Notre Dame's defense really shut out. Boise State didn't get much going on in this game. This was a 28-7 victory, a statement win. The Fighting Irish, if they could get this defense to match the level of this offense, they'll be able to compete in the playoff. Not only just, get into the playoff, but maybe have similar success towards last season, kind of win a couple games, get to the national championship. I don't know if they get to the national championship, but this is a team that's trending in the right direction now. By week 6 college football losers, let's break it down. North Carolina, Bill Belichick. He was brought in to come to North Carolina and, make this team relevant. And he's made them relevant for all the wrong reasons. His wife, this team being completely ass. It's been everything but winning. All the expectations for this team, obviously, he's reshaping this roster. We weren't expecting them to be fantastic right out the gates. But he's been terrible against Power 4 teams. It's been great against, some ass non-conference teams on the schedule. But against, Clemson, 38-10. Should be a little more competitive against Clemson, seeing as everybody else is. TCU got destroyed. You got embarrassed last week against UCF, too. Bill Belichick, this North Carolina team, huge disappointment this season. At least be competitive in these games, like I said. Kind of tarnishing his legacy with this. Got embarrassed by Clemson. At halftime, they had 32 points on you and outgained you by a wide margin with total yards. Their backups were playing in the second half for the whole entire second half. So not a good look by Bill Belichick and, his coaching pedigree, his coaching resume. You go into North Carolina might end up being one of the worst decisions for his future and for, his legacy. Iowa State, the Cyclones. You lost 31-15 against Cincinnati. You had a shot. You had some momentum. You beat Kansas State, week 0. You beat Iowa, a frisky, solid team. And then you go out there against Cincinnati and get dominated, outclassed, outmatched. Your defense looked cheeks. You couldn't stop the run, and they just looked like the better team. You look like you didn't belong on this field with them. Now, by no means are they out of the runnings to get to the Big 12 championship game, but we all know who's going to win the Big 12. Texas Tech's going to win the shit. So now the Cyclones, their chances of, having that trophy, having that is gone. Clearly gone. I do not want to see Texas Tech versus Iowa State. But like I said, they still have opportunity to get to that matchup and, get second place. At the very least, that's their ceiling this year now. Damn, Penn State got clapped by UCLA. James Franklin still got outcoached. This team can't win the big games. They can't, win the layups either. UCLA was a dead horse, almost. I mean, 0-4, nothing to play for yet. Their head coach already fired. Nico looked terrible in 4 games. And then against Penn State, I thought a good defense, top defense in the country. Nico has his way with you. He puts up a Heisman candidate type of performance. He outplays Arch Manning on all these quarterbacks that he was in the same tier with how bad he was playing. He put up a great performance in every facet. UCLA was a better football team in this game, and that's not something you should ever say about your team if you're trying to be in the college football playoff. So huge loss by James Franklin. At the post-game conference, he's talking about how it's, kind of on their players that they lost this game. You got guys hurt, guys, couldn't, bounce back against Oregon. No, that shouldn't happen. This is UCLA. Illinois got blown out by Indiana. 53-point loss. Responded beautifully and beat a good USC football team. There's no excuse, James Franklin. There's no excuse for this. This is a loss that's as bad as it gets. Maybe the greatest upset of all time. It has to be. I think this is the last of James Franklin and Penn State. If they're smart, they're going to get rid of him because you got Indiana, Iowa, Ohio State coming up now. There's a chance you could lose 4 games this season because I think you're definitely losing against Ohio State. Indiana could beat Penn State. We saw that anybody could beat them with UCLA winning, so it's not looking good for Penn State. You were the number 1 overall rated team in the country. Arch Manning was the number 1 overall college prospect this season, and he's looked terrible. He probably shouldn't even go in the 5th round. How he's been looking against those top conference teams. This Texas football team looks like it does not belong in the SEC. They're not ready for the SEC. DJ Lagway looked like the better quarterback in this game. Both quarterbacks are ass, by the way, but good enough to win this game. Florida finally found their mojo. Billy Napier, when his job is on the line, he comes correct. He puts up a great performance. Every time when the smoke is hot, he puts up a masterclass. Texas right now is the 3rd best team in Texas. Texas Tech is better. Unfortunate to say, but this is a disappointing ass team. So is Penn State, but Nico looked better than Arch Manning. Sad start for Penn State and Texas. I think both teams' playoff chances, both teams' playoff hopes are no longer on life support. They're beeping. They're done. They're cooked. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.